What's up? What's up? We back again, another episode of Ballers Only Podcast. The last episode went so well, I brought my boy back again. He the new co-host with me. Ballers Only, we got some big things planned. My boy, Micey, back again.
What it do?
We got another good one today. We got David Price, a.k.a. Super Dave. How you feeling, my boy? The one and only. One and only.
Feeling great, man.
Everything good with you?
Facts.
My boy Micey set this one up for me. He said you know a lot about basketball and Memphis history. Read some articles on you. They call you the encyclopedia of Memphis basketball.
Absolutely.
Step up to the mic for me.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a history buff, Memphis basketball encyclopedia. Might as well say everything that's Memphis detail of basketball.
Okay. And you love it.
Definitely.
Well, we're going to get right into it. We got a question I ask everyone who come on the show. Who's your favorite player to come out of Memphis, Tennessee that you seen with your own eyes?
It's one of my favorite players that came out of Memphis. I would say Penny Hardaway, but at the time I wasn't too serious. At the time I wasn't serious. But I would say one of my favorite players that came from homegrown. I would say it's more of a tough question.
Okay. So you don't have one that's that hard?
I don't.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's cool. You cool. Let's talk about your upbringing, Memphis and this whole culture and basketball. How did you fall in love with it, and what was that thing to make you fall in love with it?
Well, actually, I picked it up at the age of 6, around 91, when the Larry Finch, Penny Hardaway era was born.
Okay.
When it was transitioned from the Mid-South Coliseum to the Pyramid.
Okay.
Because I was asking my mom at the time, what's that big giant triangle downtown on the river? Mm-hmm. They said that's the new arena. Before it became a giant aquarium.
Right.
Bass Pro turned into an aquarium on the bank, Mississippi Bank, but I call it an aquarium now.
Okay.
But I fell in love with Memphis basketball since 91. And ever since then, it's in my heart.
Okay. So you started watching the games, you seen them on TV?
Yeah, I fell in love with at that time it was just Larry Finch and Penny Hardaway.
That's all.
I wasn't too hyped about the other guys. It was just Penny and Coach Finch.
What did you like about it? Like what caught your eye about it?
It was electrifying. Even at home, I couldn't afford a ticket to go to them games at the time. I was just watching at home. Imagine if I was there at the Pyramid watching Penny, David Vaughn. Mm-hmm. Who else on them teams that year? Marcus Nolan, Hamiltonian, class of 91. It was a great impact then, and I know they looked like a Final Four team, that 92 team, but they came up short in the Elite Eight in 92.
Mm-hmm. This Penny, right?
Yeah.
Penny was unreal. I seen the highlights. I was a baby at that time, but
Penny was the man, though. I remember having a poster with Oscar Mayer and
Stay Clean, Keep the Dream.
King Cotton.
King Cotton, the black and white one.
We was all eating King Cotton.
Even I seen on base. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Larry Finch had the Angel Food ice cream commercial.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
They made an ice cream called the Finch Vanilla.
Yeah, okay.
Man.
You ever had it?
No, I saw commercials of it, and he was on on my YouTube channel. I saved a commercial of Larry Finch. He was on a hardware Memphis, one of them local Memphis hardware store commercials. I think it was called Trust Value or something.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
True Value, that's what it was. Okay.
So you watching these games and you wishing you in the atmosphere. It was like dead hype for you.
It was more like I would say like a motivation, but I didn't want to say I was a groupie then, but I I loved basketball.
I was a super fan.
And then everybody at that time was watching the three-peat of the Chicago Bulls teams with Phil and Michael Jordan. And I was collaborating with that as a chemistry motivation.
Okay. So, coming up, you from South Memphis, right?
Yes.
So, coming up in South Memphis, were you a Hamilton fan? Or was it automatic or?
I wasn't a fan too much at the time because I didn't know Coach. I didn't hear about Coach A till back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
When all those high school teams, you probably heard they was dominated, like Whitehaven, Fairleigh, Carver. It was, I think, around 99, I was in, actually, the middle school. I went to Hamilton Middle myself from 97 to 99.
Okay.
And the crazy part about it is one year we didn't have they didn't have no basketball team my 7th grade year, but my 8th grade year they did.
That's weird for a middle school.
Right.
Yeah, they had a different principal at the time.
Okay.
Guess they had no funding. Till my 8th grade year at Hamilton Middle, what had happened was I heard Coach A gave some of them uniforms to the middle school as a transition. Because he did something like that when I got over here. He had 3 sets of uniforms, like one JV, one varsity, one 9th grade. Whenever they get a new set of uniforms, they pass it down.
That's good. That's cool.
They boxed it up, and we sent it over to Hamilton Middle so they would save them some money on uniforms. Because I remember some of them uniforms looked at baggy-ish on them little small.
Yeah, they were still puny. So.
Puny.
I got a question too, Dave. So like, you hear like, you know, who raised you? Like, who did you grow up in the house with? Like,
my grandma raised me practically.
So you a grandma baby?
Well, I'm not a mama's boy too much, but she taught me about a lot of things. Stick with. She told me one thing: just stick with it. It'll open doors for you.
Okay.
Later in life, and all you gotta do is just try.
Yep.
Yeah. You right.
That's a lot of old school. It's an old school.
Yeah, that's
word,
old school game.
Just try, and it'll work.
So it was just you and grandma?
It's just my grandma and my brother. That was it.
I feel you got a brother, older brother, or little brother?
Little brother. But he wasn't into basketball.
Right.
He was more of an artist.
Okay.
But myself, since high school, I loved basketball. I used it as a tool, a good tool.
Get you where you want, even if you ain't playing.
Even if I'm not playing as an equipment manager, it'll get you where you're going.
Man, it's crazy.
And it's a lot. It's real rare to find managers.
Right.
I'm
dedicated
right
managers.
Now. Dedicated managers.
Right.
Like managers, I played D1 ball, so it's like managers are like a big part of the whole thing.
Operation.
Like having the jerseys ready, practice jersey, washing it, you got to do that every day.
The balls.
Like you really got to dedicate your life to like a team and players and the coach, and like they put a lot of responsibility on the managers, and like you did that with ease.
Facts.
Let's talk about I was reading in your article in the Commercial Appeal, the piece they did about you, and your mentor at the Boys and Girls Club said he knew you were different. Like you knew basketball front and back. You knew.
He's right. You're right. As a result, like how Micey have grew up at at Pine Hill Community Center, I grew up at the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
And the executive director, he played at Lemoyne.
Okay.
And he taught me. Well, I actually embraced it, and I used it as a tool as well. He taught me things about basketball, what you can do, the do's and don'ts, and also the scenarios of basketball. You can channel it as an equipment manager of basketball because it's going to be hard to find. Most coaches realize that it's hard to find good help these days.
That's right.
It's especially if a high school student trying to be an equipment manager. It's random, but if you're a coach right now, you say to yourself, "I need somebody that's experienced, especially high school experience." But it's hard.
So
I was one of those guys in the I came to Hamilton one summer back in the early 2000s, early June, just to try out to play basketball. But Coach A realized I wasn't good.
Okay.
It's true. I wasn't good.
Did you think you was good?
No.
What made you want to try out to the team, though, Dave?
He said,
I'd rather be part of a winning program.
Yeah. So what was your game like, Dave?
If you could compare yourself.
I'm a guard. I could have been like a 6'1" guard.
Okay.
But I had a late growth spurt, though. I was like 5, maybe like 5'10". My growth spurt came right after I graduated.
Oh, okay. So you had to run a road trip and everything during tryouts. Run the hills.
I did, and Coach A, well, what had happened was Coach A told me stay here and get everything set up for the trials. Make sure the balls was, make sure we had all 12 balls on the rack. Make sure the clock and stuff set up.
So Coach A saw that in you, and he put you in the position to do it.
Yeah, he saw my potential.
Okay. You know, like I asked Micey, talk about Coach A and, you know, how he was and how he shaped and groomed you as a man, and talk about his impact in your life, because he the one who started you, right?
Yes, it's a lot of fun. Just like my the executive director, Ivory Boykins of Southside Boys and Girls Club. He was like a father figure to me. He was like my very first father figure. And Coach A I made Coach A like my second father figure.
Okay.
But I needed somebody like Coach A, firm and tough.
Okay.
To get on me.
Gotcha.
Because my grandma was, a lot of women, most, like my grandma or your moms, some of these guys grew up with their moms and grandmas. They don't have that toughness in them.
Old school.
And I needed it.
Okay. And Coach A brought that for you?
Yes.
Okay. So your first year, he bring you in. He said, get the balls together, get the clock together. Did you find a liking in it, like, or a passion while doing it, or it was just something
it was more, like you just said, it was a passion. I got turned on to it.
Okay.
And we had like 4 men. Then my sophomore year at Hamilton, that was my first year.
Okay.
Because I was coming from Fairview.
Okay.
But then.
So hello. So you went from Hamilton Middle to Fairview.
Yeah, I could have came to Hamilton my 9th grade year straight. I didn't know what happened, but I remember going to some games at Fairview. We was playing again when most of these high schools had a 9th grade team.
Because we were junior high back then.
Yeah, the weird part was they was playing schools like Bellevue, Cypress,
Mitchell,
right.
Georgia Hills,
Chickasaw.
They had like 7th through 9th, that's 3 years.
East had 7th through 9th then, yeah.
But at the same time, like how Coach A did, they'll put the 9th grade team with the varsity so they can learn from it, from the varsity.
Okay. And you get here.
Back to that same question. Coach A was more of a philosopher coach. He was at the same time like a father figure to each man on that basketball team.
Okay.
Boy.
Right.
But to me, though, Coach A, he was on me anyway because he trusted me more.
Okay.
And I was actually gaining a trust on him.
Okay.
As a result.
How did the talk about, like, you know, a lot of people don't want to become the manager, you know, because they might get picked on or, you know, talked about. How did the team embrace you?
They embraced me. They sometimes pick on me, but in a good way.
Okay.
Yeah,
a good one.
Okay. Checking. Fun. Just having Dave used to do these jokes. Like, Dave a comedian too now.
Okay.
I'm still a comedian now, but I don't do it as much anymore.
Okay.
Even when it was on the way in, I was joking around.
Okay.
And if he know you and he been knowing you he gonna tell you the truth.
Okay.
Dave will come up to you and tell you the truth.
That's real.
Micey, I'm disappointed in you. I said, Dave, what I do, Dave? No, Dave was like, he expected more out of me. So that was real, Dave. Like, can't knock stuff like that.
I think that means a lot.
Yeah,
that's real. That's real. I like that.
I always been like that. And he know all my old girlfriend.
You know what that
from Brittany Brownlee.
Oh my God.
He said, Dave, I know him all.
That great.
It was like I guess I got a good, even my auntie said right now, I got a great memory on everything.
That's a good thing to have. That's a good thing to have.
Someone hit me up. I seen you, Dave. Dave told me about it. He saw you. I seen Dave.
He said, Dave, I know him all.
Yeah, Dave know everybody. When I say Dave know everybody, he know everybody.
Even in the basketball world, I know everybody.
Everybody.